Hi there, and welcome to our first episode this season of the Gazette's weekly Hockey Inside Out show. I'm Stu Cowan of the Gazette, and I'm very, very happy to be joined again this season by my regular partners. You know who these guys are, former Canadiens teammates and 1986 Stanley Cup champs, Chris Nilan and Rick Green. Hope you guys both had a great summer, and the same for all our viewers out there. Certainly an interesting summer for the Canadiens with the addition of defenseman Noah Dobson and forward Zachary Bolduc. Knuckles, they made the playoffs last season, and Martin St. Louis says this is the most talented and deep team he's had since becoming head coach 3 years ago. Do you agree this team is better than last year, and are they good enough not just to make the playoffs, but maybe win a series or two?
That remains to be seen, okay? Now, I didn't have this team making the playoffs last year. I had them, like, nipping at the back door, and they nipped and they just got in. Listen, 15, what were they, 15, 5, and 6, the last 26 games, which was an awesome record. Let's say what it is. They played Carolina the last game at the Bell Center, and they were missing like 5 of their core players, okay? Habs won the game still. They won it. They get in. That's great. So let's not, look too far ahead. This year I had them really like nipping again and maybe just getting in. Not a wild card team either, but just getting in. I think they've improved the team for sure offensively. You look at the players they brought in. Certainly the penalty killing has to be sorted out. Again, the goaltender is your best penalty killer, but Mia did a hell of a job last year. You still got Evans. You got, can Valeno do that job? Anderson. We'll see. But the big question mark for me with this team is in their own end of the rink, like last year. That has to get better. They were, 22nd last year in goals against. They can't be there. They got to be down like around the 10 area if they want to make the playoffs. 1 to 10 goals against. That's an area they got to clean up, and hopefully they do. And we'll see. That's why I say it remains to be seen. I want this team to take off and do well. I think they're ready to make a step. How big? Again, we got to see how it plays out. I can make all the predictions I want, and by the end of the season, I'll look like an asshole.
Well, Rick, I know Marty's emphasizing in training camp he wants a team heavy on the forecheck, playing hard against the other team in the defensive zone, in the other team's zone, and in the neutral zone, so they don't spend as much time in their own zone. I know you hated that sort of hybrid system they played last year, but what are your thoughts about this team heading into the season?
Well, they got excellent skill. You look at the team. They've got guys that can move, mobile, back on the blue line, same thing. They got very good mobility back there, and they're going to be exciting to watch. They're still young, and I think it's important to emphasize the fact that they had a great learning experience last year, starting off really poorly and struggling in so many areas. And then they finally figured out, how to play and finding ways to win. So I think this experience factor is going to be an issue here moving forward to, see the team perform at a higher level. And expectations are that there's nowhere or no place that you can hide now. You've proven that you have shown that you'll be able to find ways to win. Now we have to see these guys perform. And, as far as predictions go, time will tell. As Nuck says, they have to be good in their zone. They have to really, really be solid with their, improving on their goals against and, working from the back out. And, then the front will take care of itself because they do have some skilled guys that are going to be fun to watch.
I'd be surprised if this team doesn't make the playoffs just because I think they're going to have that extra offense, and I don't think they'll get off to that bad start. The other thing I like is that I think they have confidence on their goaltending situation. Remember before they called up Dobson last year, Montreal played like 10 games in a row, so they just had no trust in putting Caden Primo in the net. So I think that the goaltending situation is better. But you're right, playing the owned end is going to be a big question mark. The other question mark, I think, though, Knuckles, too, is, or maybe a concern, is that second line of Kapanen between Newhook and Demidov. Do you think Kapanen's ready to step into that role right now?
Listen, it seems like the coach has that confidence in him. I've been watching him. You know, he's a pretty intelligent player. You know, he's, again, I don't think he can play offense. I think he's better defensively than he is offensively. Mm-hmm. He's one of them guys he'll score you some goals. He'll make some plays. He's gritty, you know, and I like the way he plays in his own end of the rink. So that's a positive, because that's the one area I'm really concerned in. When you have a centerman who can play down low and you know, read, react, and snuff out plays, that's a good thing. I think that's where that, you know, certainly playing with Demidov and Newhook, you're going to want a guy like that, right? Mm-hmm. So, I like what I see in Kapanen.
Well, St. Louis said, Rick, that he has an NHL computer brain. Like, he reads the game well. And at some point, I think you got to put these young guys into key positions. This is a case. I know you never trust the forward, Rick, but maybe you trust this young guy.
Yeah, you know, I like him. I mean, his willingness to get into the dirty areas and compete, and he plays pretty hard. And, you know, Martin St. Louis has talked about emphasizing moving forward here on their overall defensive game and being better in that department. And as Nux and I know, it's really critical to have whatever the first forward is back into your zone, to be committed and, you know, responsible and build trust in what you're trying to do. And I think this is going to be a challenge for them. But the good thing is they have intelligent guys. I believe that they have to be held accountable for when they don't understand time to play defense and time to go on offense. And this is always going to be an area of concern on my side, is when you look at the mobility of the defensemen back there that want to get involved all the time. I'm just hoping that they understand and, you know, pick their spots in a way that they don't get themselves giving up a lot of odd man chances and you know, chances against. So there's some good with the group. Now let's see if they can put it together, you know, so they know what to do both defensively and offensively.
The other way to look at it, too, is that he's challenging Kapanen, and he's not pushing Doc into that two-hole right now, right? He wants him to get comfortable again and see if he's okay as far as injury-wise, and can you get back to that level that you need to be. So I think he put him down with Gallagher, responsible, you know, and the young kid Bolduc. I think it's good for Doc. So he's playing with some guys that can score too, right? Bolduc should be able to put the puck in the net, and Gallagher, he had 21 last year. So I think it's a way of bringing Kirby along and getting him his confidence back.
Well, Doc's a big question mark, obviously, Knuckles. Another big question mark, Patrik Laine. I mean, the Canadiens don't make the playoffs last season without him coming in and giving that power play a boost and scoring those goals, and Kent Hughes said that after the season. Interviewing Laine at the beginning of training camp, he seems to be in a really good place, mentally, ready for the season. He worked hard all summer. He really wants to stay in Montreal. Had a chance to chat with his wife at the Bell Center before one of the preseason games. She spoke about how much they love being in Montreal. Now he's going to start the season, it looks like, on the fourth line with Anderson and Evans. You know, 5-on-5 play is key, Knuckles. Do you think he can do it? Do you think he can play the way Marty St. Louis wants him to play?
Why wouldn't you love Montreal after being in Winnipeg and Columbus, for Christ's sake? I mean, hello, Montreal. It's like, come on, paradise. So, yeah, Patrick, listen, they don't make it without him. I get it, the power play, but we know 5-on-5, we've seen it with him. He's you know, he's not committed like other guys are 5-on-5. You see him, you know, he's soft in certain areas. Yeah, you know, he doesn't move his legs sometimes. He spreads his legs a lot. You know, he's going to score his goals on the power play. So hence the fourth line. So he's on the fourth line. Can he climb up the ladder? It depends on his 5-on-5 play. again, it depends all on that, and we'll see. And then if you need a power play goal, throw him out there.
Yeah, I think putting him with Evans and Anderson makes sense too, because they're two defensively responsible guys who are going to help cover for him. What do you think, Rick? I mean, I don't think you would trust Patrik Laine as a forward, but what does he have
I
to
would
do?
be kind of looking over my shoulder left and right to see if I could find him, inside the blue line. But anyways, according to him, he's feeling good. He's healthy, which is a good thing. And now, is he mentally ready to do what he has to do and be committed 5-on-5 to do his job and do it very, very well. And that's the question mark. We know what he can do in the power play. We know that he's going to score goals, but is he going to be a liability 5-on-5? And I think that he's heard that song and dance quite a bit, and I'm hoping that he'll respond in a way that, okay, you have to be committed. You have to be responsible. The time is now, or if it's not, I don't foresee him being around Montreal for a long time.
Yeah, I think he knows he has to. The question is, can he do it, right? I mean, he looked slow during training camp. The effort level was there. I mean, he was working hard. And he's a smart guy too, now, because he's got to know Joe Valeno's sitting there waiting for his opportunity. And if one guy that he might be replacing, you have to think, it's Patrik Laine. What did you think about Valeno? I mean, he was sort of a feel-good story, right? The hometown kid, former first-round pick, hasn't worked out for him so far. His former agent, Kent Hughes, gives him a chance, and he made the most of it.
Yeah, I thought he played well. He made. I think, certainly in the last game when he made that save, he come back defensively, made that save. But a couple times he had opportunities to shoot, and he passed and ended up getting picked off. Like, shoot the puck. Don't defer to someone else. In this league today, man, it's so, you're on a 2-on-1. That D-men are so good taking away that pass. Shoot the freaking puck. So I want to see that more from him. But, yeah, he's there. I think it'd be interesting to see what happens there. And, I know they sent Florian Jacki back, but, I would think he'd be back, sometime in the fall, depending on injuries and really how guys are playing. And if anybody's, stumbling at all, that could be something they need, a guy like that up front.
No, I was going to say, Valeno has earned his chance to show what he can do. He's a good two-way player and seems to be really determined to make the difference. He's been bounced a little bit. Now as a local boy, he's hungry and excited to be part of the Montreal Canadiens, and obviously they had expectations and good vibes from what they've seen of him, and that's why he's still around.
Yeah, he came in and understood exactly what Marty Stanley was asking for him. And I think it's hard, right, Rick, for maybe some of these young guys who were offensive stars as a kid. The only Quebecer ever to be exceptional player status to play in junior at 15, and then coming in and having to change roles. I mean, I'm sure in your career, Rick, you saw guys have to do that. Just how difficult is that, changing from an offensive player to learning to be like a fourth-line role guy?
Well, I mean, let's face it, some guys mature quicker than others, and the bottom line here is understanding what you need to do and play up to your capacity each and every night. And, you look at a player like this who has, like I said, has been moved a few times, and why has he been moved? So we're hoping that he's understanding that he's got to play a certain way and he has to do it each and every night. And it's a maturity factor. And I think another thing that comes into play is, I've been moved. I don't want to move again. What do I need to do to stay as part of the Montreal Canadiens group? Because I think, sensing from some of the comments, he really enjoys the fact that he's getting a chance to be part of this organization and has a chance to contribute.
Yeah, especially being back home. I mean, he said he celebrated Sunday after Laine made the team by going to his parents' house in the West Island in Kirkland for the Italian tradition, a Sunday night dinner, which I'm sure his parents are thrilled of him. Also, Knuckles, Marty always says players have to realize that life after hockey is a lot longer than life during hockey. Do you think that's sort of a message that a Valeno or even a Laine might be getting right now? And we look what happened with Armia when they sent them down to Laval. I think that message might have kicked in with him then also.
Yeah, it did, no question. Yeah, it is. And when you're there, you hear all the things. Average career is, 4.2 years or whatever the hell it is now. And that's the average. And yeah, there's guys that play longer. But now with the salary cap, man, you're 30 years old. If you're not bringing it,
Yep.
it's a real short career. So, yeah, time is away from hockey is a lot longer than time in. And that's a great message. He always comes up with some good stuff. I really like that. It's a great message to send those players. And, yeah, he's a bright kid. He thinks differently, Marty, and he's done a hell of a job, really, with this group. I always thought he should kick them in the ass, last year when they weren't, and there all the time, so you don't know if he does. Mm-hmm. You never see it in practice or on the ice at times. He never kind of keeps his cool. And the beauty of it for him is he stayed true to himself and his philosophy. And, it paid off. It paid off. So hopefully it pays off again this year. Well,
they said they were looking for a modern-day coach, and he's it, right? And I think he really understands his generation. The fact he has kids the same age as the guys he's coaching. I was talking with Arbor Jacka the other day, and a lot of people think that maybe he's harder on Arbor than other guys. And I asked him, is that because you can handle it? And he sort of said, yeah. He says, he treats me like his son, and he treats us all like his son. And he knows that maybe he can be harder on me than other guys, and you have to adjust how different guys react. And I think Marty's really, really been good at that. And, Rick, one of the new players he's going to have this season, former defenseman, Noah Dobson. He's the big acquisition during the offseason. Paying him $9.5 million, the highest paid player on the team. What have you liked or maybe not liked about him during training camp?
Well, he's a big mobile body that likes to get involved offensively. He seems to be pretty intelligent, with and without the puck. So he's got the tools. Now we'll see, and again, paired up if he's going to be with Matheson and for how long. Trying to find some pairings that are going to complement each other so that they don't end up everybody on a run and gun type of, play. But, he's going to be under the microscope. He's got a big contract, and the expectations are going to be you're going to deliver. You better deliver offensively, and power play and 5-on-5. You've got to be one of the best D out there, and he'll understand that pretty quickly here in Montreal. That there's no room for almost getting the job done. But the good news is he's a big, intelligent kid that I think obviously knows how to play the game, and time will tell.
Yeah, Knuckles, Marty has said he wants his defense to be really aggressive in the neutral zone so that teams don't spend as much time in the defensive zone. With that in mind, Matheson and Dobson seem like a good pairing. They're both mobile. They're both big guys. Do you think that's easier said than done, I think, though, right?
Yeah, it is. Again, you got to have that forward high. It's a team that pinches a lot too, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody pinches now like crazy. So you got to make sure you have the coverage to be able to do that, right? If you don't have the coverage, there's no standing up, so
it's like trusting a forward.
Yeah. Stop with that. Just keep backing in. Like you used to back in when it was 3-on-3 coming back. Come on,
you come to the front of the net.
Back way in instead of standing up.
Front.
Because you get burnt wide.
It's always a sore point for him, right? It's just like you touch a finger. It's like
because you look good because when you play with Cowan, Gainey, and Nilan, you never got scored against because of us. We're always in the other end of the rink.
No, I don't recall that. You'll have to show me some videos of it because I don't remember.
Well, Rick, you do remember you were a number 1 overall pick. When you see Dobson, new contract, $9.5 million for 8 years. I'm sure you wish maybe you were born a little later, but did they overpay for him?
Well, I mean, if you're going to do any kind of comparisons, which is how they arrive at the kid in Anaheim, Lacombe, or and
Lacombe, $9 million.
Hughes in Jersey. They're not 100-point guys. Mm-hmm. They have a pretty good year, and all of a sudden they go from 900 and some thousand to 9 million on a pretty good year. But obviously they're projecting bigger and better things moving down the road. But it's what it is. It's the market, and if that's what they need to do to get these guys on board and get them to play the best they can play, that's what it is. But you better play and perform.
Well, and the thing is, you say, Jackson Lacombe, $9 million after only one season. And the thing is, Knuckles, like, right shot defenseman, big guy, 25 years old, as Ken Hughes said when they signed him, these guys don't become available very often, right? So if you're going to overpay, and as you say, as the contracts, these other contracts are being signed a couple of years from now, I don't think that's going to look as much as it does now. Yeah,
probably won't. And, listen, looking at Hudson, did they overpay? And now they got to look at Hudson and pay him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
you have to, if you want to get a big. And how long have they been trying to get this right shot D-man, right? Mm-hmm. That's all we hear about. We need a right shot D-man, right shot D-man. Well, here he is, and that's what you have to pay, and that's the game today. And salary cap's going to be going up next couple of years, and that might look like a bargain. Like right now, Suzuki and Caulfield look like a bargain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, as you mentioned, Rick, the spotlight here is very bright, and that's another thing that Dobson's going to have to deal with. Anyway, that's it for our first Hockey Inside Out show of the season. I hope you all enjoyed it out there. Look for our 3 bonus episodes coming up later in the week. We'll be back with another new show next week with Rick and Chris joining you again. In the meantime, enjoy the games and what will be a busy week for the Habs. Games Wednesday night in Toronto open the season, Thursday night in Detroit, and Saturday night in Chicago. Then they'll return home and play their home opener next Tuesday at the Bell Center against the Seattle Kraken. Enjoy the games, and we'll talk to you again soon.